Hi Pisces, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your June 2021 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic Girl spread as always, and I pulled an Oracle card and a Mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus will be as far as that goes. So, do that. Okay, so we have the moon. And of course, in June will be an eclipse season. So actually toward the end of May, we're going to have a full moon eclipse in Sagittarius, which is your 10th house. And then we'll have a new moon eclipse in the middle of June, which is going to be in your 4th house. We have 9, which is your 9th house. So for you guys, that's actually Scorpio. And astrologically speaking, there's not really anything going on there, but we'll keep that in mind anyway. And we have Capricorn, so that's actually your 11th house of friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes. And we have Pluto in there. All right, so we'll keep those in mind as we go through the spread. In the main situation position, we have the 2 of Swords. So this is Libra energy, which for you guys is your 8th house, and to me, this says that you're of two minds around something, and I feel like this is saying that whatever it is, the decision you're trying to make is, you're trying to completely detach the emotion behind it. The reason why I say that, if you think about the water, that often symbolizes emotions. The moon, same thing. And we also see her heart crossed off. We think of emotions with the heart as well. And then she has the blindfold, which is to say, she only wants to come from her mind with the decision-making process. So, in a way, this might make sense as far as just the fact that we'll have Mercury retrograde in June. So it could just be one of those things where before you actually communicate something, you really want to think it over, make sure that it comes across the right way. So it could just be as simple as that. But I feel like you guys have probably been in this energy for a while, so it might be a little bit bigger than that. All right, and the challenge or obstacle position, we had a few cards come up. We have the Lovers, which is Gemini energy. So speaking of that, plenty of energy going to be going on there in June. The Hierophant, excuse me, which is Taurus energy, which is your 3rd house of communication, speaking of which. And we have the 4 of Cups, which is Cancer energy. So for a lot of you, I do have to say this can be around a romantic connection. And I do have to say that. And it could be one of those things where you might actually want to take it to the next level with this person. The reason I say that is because of the Hierophant. And I feel like you might be disappointed with where things are, but you're not necessarily communicating it to this person at this time. And we went over already a couple of the reasons why that may be the case. Let me see if there's anything else that comes to mind with this. And I also feel like this is saying that, sometimes when I see the Lover's energy, I think about things being worked out behind the scenes. So for this to be in the challenge position and then seeing the Hierophant there too, I feel like this is saying that, you might have to take the tried and true method here as opposed to just saying, all right, you know what, maybe I'll just sit back and let things take care of themselves. I feel like this is saying, in order for you to change the dynamic, if you're unhappy with it, you actually most likely will have to speak up. Now, if you want to do it during the Mercury retrograde or not, that's up to you, of course, but at least it looks like you are trying to make sure you do come across with measured communication, so that's a good thing, but that's what I see there. In the foundation position, we have the 10 of Cups. So at the very least, it says that either, whatever the situation was, there was a lot of happiness already there. For some of you, it could just be saying that there's still the potential for that as well. But at the very least, this is the vision that you might have had for the situation. So this is starting to lean a little bit more toward a romantic connection for me right now as I'm looking at this, but it could be other areas of life too. But this is actually Pisces energy. So I feel like this is saying at the root of it all, there's still potential for you to get here. Maybe you have already been here, or if you haven't gotten there yet, there's still that potential, but looks like you're going to have to do some communicating first. All right, in the past position, we have the High Priestess. So this is usually, for me, this is Pisces energy too. And usually this represents having a lot of faith in your intuition, also being under control as far as your emotions go, because I always feel like this looks like she has her foot over the moon symbol there, which to me is saying, you have control over your emotions. So I feels like it's saying that in the past you might have actually been able to trust your intuition. For whatever reason, that might have changed for you guys, and that could be why now you might be a little bit gun shy around that, and why you are trying to take a decision strictly based on logic now and kind of discarding your intuition for whatever reason. But that's what I'm seeing there. All right, in the present position, we have the Magician. So this is actually a pretty good energy to see, because to me it says, if you are disappointed with the way things are going, you do have the potential to change it. You have all the tools at your disposal. We see the wand, the pentacle, the cup, the sword. So I feel like it's saying that all the tools are at your disposal if you do want to change the situation around. And this also makes me think of the fact that, we have Jupiter moving into your sign, so that could be part of what helps that situation out as well. See if anything else comes to mind with this. And sometimes I view this as South Node energy too, so for some of you this could also be around your career, given that, the South Node is in your 10th house of career and social status. All right, in the near future position, we have Strength. So this is Leo energy here. And, well, astrologically speaking, I will say we're going to have Mars move into the sign of Leo around the middle of the month. And that's your 6th house. So if this is around a work situation, that might actually help you get things organized in that regard, or, just your daily routines and whatnot. But more than anything, I feel like this is saying that, the key to getting this situation cleared up is to definitely speak up, but to try to come from love, because if we think about the lion representing ego in the situation, we could see that she's actually taking that approach to actually close the lion's mouth. So I feel like this is saying that, as long as you don't try to let your ego lead the way with whatever it is you need to communicate, that will be the key to actually getting the situation resolved in the way that you're hoping for. And if we look at the card back in the spread, the Magician's even pointing right toward that card too, it looks like. So I feel like that's saying that could be the key. That, by all means, you should speak up. I feel like that's the theme that I'm seeing here. But try to make sure you keep your ego out of it. And that's a good reminder for Mercury retrograde for sure. But anytime it'd be a good reminder. All right. In the position of your influence in the situation, we have Justice in reverse. So this is Libra energy here, just much like we see with the Two of Swords there. And I feel like this is just saying that, you guys are really going to be the key. That's what I'm seeing with the Magician, with the Shrimp card, to actually restoring justice and balance in a situation. So let's just look at it a couple different ways. So let's say that you were the one who's quote-unquote at blame in whatever this dynamic is. It could just be saying that in order to restore the balance, it's actually going to be on you guys to go ahead and communicate, say what you need to say to rebalance the scales. Now, on the flip side of that, with this coming up in reverse, it could just be saying that if someone else actually is the one who was quote unquote in the wrong, you still would kind of feel like you're in this energy where there is no justice done until you actually do communicate to this person around what you're feeling with the situation. So it could be one of those things where it's possible that they're oblivious to it, yes, but I feel like even if they're not, which I doubt, to be perfectly honest with you, I doubt most of them are oblivious to the situation completely. Maybe they're not aware of to the extent that you were hurt by the situation, but I feel like it's saying that, the key is, and maybe it's just like for whatever reason, some kind of karmic lesson you guys have to go through, the key is that you guys are actually going to have to go ahead and communicate around the injustice to actually get it resolved. All right. In the environment position, we have the Emperor in reverse. So this is Aries energy. So, sometimes with Emperor energy, we do tend to think of bosses. So again, this can definitely be around the workplace dynamic for sure. But if this is just another person you're dealing with, now with the Emperor in the upright, sometimes that could be someone who could be a bit controlling. And depending on the situation in reverse, you might actually see that as being worse. But with the Emperor in reverse in this particular situation, I feel like this is saying if this is someone that you have dealt with that has been a bit controlling, and maybe that's where you felt like there was a unfairness in the dynamic. With this coming up in reverse, I feel like it's saying that, their approach might be a bit softened right now. So As far as, and I feel like you'd be able to see that externally too. So, you could just kind of read their energy and see, okay, whatever this is around, maybe you've been walking on eggshells with this person and not communicating what's going on in your mind. I feel like this is saying that this might be a good time to do so. So just definitely be on the lookout for that. All right. And in the hopes or fears position, we have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So this is Virgo energy here, which is actually your opposite sign. And to see this come up in the reverse could just be saying, so I could see this playing out in either way. Like we were saying, if it is a romantic connection, seeing this in the reverse, like I was saying, if you're unsatisfied with where things are in the connection and you want to go to the next level, I feel like this is saying that you have that fear, right? With this in reverse, saying that you have a fear that it never will turn into the stable commitment that you're hoping for. Likewise, if this is around finances too, I feel like this is saying you might fear that things might never stabilize within that situation. So, keep in mind, this is just a hopes or fears. So I do point out to people that, it's not necessarily an indicator that that's how things will play out. It's just more that that's what's on your mind. And, quite frankly, it is eclipse season, and both Sagittarius energy and Gemini energy do square you guys, so you might just feel like you're pulled in a bunch of different directions this month too, so that's perfectly normal as well. But yeah, in the outcome position, we have the Five of Cups. So this is Scorpio energy here, which for you guys is your ninth house. So I feel like this is saying, especially given that we did see the 9 come up in the dice as well, that it could just be saying that the challenge for you guys is going to be to look at things from a different perspective this month. So for example, what always stands out to me with the artwork in this card is the gray background, right? It looks very neutral compared to, some of the blue skies, the yellow, the vibrant colors we see in the backgrounds in a lot of these other cards. The neutrality here to me says, it almost points out the fact that there's that choice, right? Where this person could choose to focus on the 3 spilled cups, or they could actually look at the 2 that are still standing. So, like I said, it could just be one of those things where this is just something that you're going to have to just move through those motions and feel those feelings. Like I said, the one thing it does look like, for whatever reason, you guys are really coming across as the key to restoring balance in this situation, whatever it's around. So the good news is, if you are really hesitant, feeling like, okay, I just can't speak up about what the situation is right now, with that 2 of Swords energy. Good news, astrologically speaking, you do have the retrograde, so yeah, astrologically speaking, that decision could be supported. But the bad news is I do feel like I said, it seems like for whatever reason, you would eventually have to speak up on it. So even if it's not this month, eventually at some point you would actually have to speak up on the situation in order to get it turned around. All right, and at the bottom of the deck we have the Ace of Wands. So this is the desire for fresh energy, something new. Usually it's just more in the idea stage as opposed to actually taking action toward it, but that's what I'm seeing with that. And moving on to your Oracle card, we have Truth Be Told. So there's the artwork, and the number is 14. So yeah, looks like you guys definitely will need to speak up. And interestingly enough, when I picked up this card, I did see that Temperance is beneath that, and that's actually number 14 in the Major Arcana. So Temperance pointing to an energy of balance, and then we see 14 in this card as well. So there could definitely be a connection there. But let's take a look at the messages, see what it says. It says honesty, accepting things at face value, coming out of denial, the willingness to be transparent, clarity of communication. The Oracle's message: there is the truth, which is the essence of a thing, and then there is a truth, subjective according to the philosophy of the adherent or believer. This is not a time for debate about which truth is truer. This is a time when you are called to proclaim your truth out loud and be willing to be transparent, honest, and open in your communication with others and with yourself. Nothing less than surrender to what is, peeling off the layers of denial that kept you tied to an illusion, will set you free. Be authentic and gloriously flawed, and Spirit will answer with miracles. So, pretty positive message there, and it does seem to support the overall vibe that I was getting from the main spread too, so hopefully that resonated with you. The relationship message says people tell you who they are very quickly if you're willing to listen to what they say and pay attention to how they behave. This card calls you to engage in heartfelt, open conversation. It's time to see the truth about what you share with each other and tell the truth about who you are and what you need. No one can do that for you. Remember that your truth is always based on your personality and experience up to now. A higher truth will be found after you communicate honestly and see how doing so has helped you become more attuned to yourself. Don't hold back. Speak your truth and listen. So yeah, like I said, this definitely looks like whatever the situation is, we point out a few different scenarios that it could be pointing to. It looks like you guys are going to have to speak up around the situation. And like I said, if you are dealing with someone who's generally very rigid, looks like for whatever reason this month they might be a bit more open to hearing other points of view. So that would be the one positive there. The prosperity message says, are you willing to do whatever it takes to experience the prosperous life you desire? If you want to be an artist, do you make your art a priority? If you want to be a healer, do you set aside time to learn new things to help you serve? A writer must write and a singer must sing. Being true to your calling is essential to your moving forward. There is another oracle message here too. It's time to have a look at the real, honest truth about your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about prosperity, about your relationship to money, to compensation, and to meaningful work. Ask yourself, what is true for me? And you will find the key to abundance. So definitely an interesting message there. And I will say, if this is around finances, like I said, the fact that you guys are going to have that full moon eclipse coming up in your 10th house of career and social status, it makes sense in that regard if you guys are reviewing that area of life. And then also Mars moving into your 6th house, which is another thing that could point to finances and whatnot. That could be another indicator that you could be looking at those areas too. So hopefully that resonated with you. And we'll move on to your oracle card. Excuse me, not your oracle card, your Mudra card. The Mudra you guys got for this month is the Kashyapa Mudra. There it is there. The keyword for it is preservation. And let's see if we get everything in the frame. Alright, so yeah, there you go. If you want to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say, you can. But under benefits, it says grounding and centering, balances masculine and feminine qualities, protects against negative energies and unfriendly or confused spirits, sometimes called orphan spirits. I think you guys got this card, probably wasn't last month, it might have been a few months back, but this card definitely points to saying, you might want to smudge the energy in your environment. That might also help clear things up for you guys too. So if you haven't done smudging before, just definitely do a Google search on that. Usually, they'll recommend sage, but you could do different things if you don't want to use sage. But yeah, with that said, I'll put the name of the Mudra in the description video as always. If you want to look into that a little bit more, we'll wrap up there and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.